You're pissed, are you? I'm not as fucking. Look at me in the eyes! Not as pissed as I am! You fucking are! Donkey!
I have been looking forward to making this video all year long. I have been listening to as many albums as I reasonably can, and now finally that the end of the year is here, I can finally post my opinions on the internet.
Amazing! I've got to tell someone about this! Hey, all you people!
Anyway, here's my top 5 best albums of 2023. The list is objective, and if your favorite album didn't make the list, it's because I don't like you specifically.
Oh my fucking god!
The Jaws of Life by Pierce the Veil. After years of practice and study, I alone have become the only human being that can tell Pierce the Veil and Sleeping with Sirens apart. This album is a stark contrast to the band's older works, and by that I mean damn near unrecognizable.
Who the fuck are you?
With a much less brutal and focused, restrained sound, with the same emotional beats that this band does so well. There are many songs on this record that you could hypothetically headbang to, such as Death of the Executioner, Past the Nirvana, and So Far So Fake. They're at odds with the majority of the track list that's very sluggish and ambient. This record almost sounds like two separate albums mashed together that never really gel together, and just kind of play hot potato between really catchy, upbeat rock with some depressing lyrics and some exhausted, somber tracks with some really depressing lyrics. The final song, 12 Fractures, is just kind of an exhale of a final track, but aside from that, there isn't really a single song on this record that I can say for sure is a skip. This album holds a very shaky spot in 5th place. I've listened to a lot of albums this year in preparation for this video, but I think if I had listened to just a few more albums, I probably could have found an album to take this one's place. But New Year's is approaching and I'm pretty burnt out, so on to number 4.
On my endless journey to be the greatest AIDS spreader of all time.
Praise a Lord Who Chews But Which Does Not Consume, or Hot Between Worlds by Yves Tumor. Until this album, the only Yves Tumor song I had ever heard was that one Joji feature off of the best Joji album. This record is a very dreamy, psychedelic, and groovy ride with a ton of reverberated vocals and amazing instrumentation. Although there are many themes of God and spirituality in this record, I never really saw where Yves was trying to go with it or what questions/points the record was trying to bring up. But I suppose that might just be my small brain failing to comprehend the genius of Yves Tumor. Either way, I did get the feeling that even though the vocals were very clean and great to listen to, the vocals of this album are almost a backup for the instrumentation because again, it is phenomenal. The drum and bass line accompanied by a very hard rock sounding electric guitar on the track Meteora Blues was especially memorable to me. The droning yet energetic chords and subtle distorted low pitch vocals of Operator were really nice as well. This album has a very unique and fun vibe while sounding very elaborate and sophisticated.
Monster Rambo, I hope you're fucking having a horrible evening, you cheating fucking scumbag!
Unreal Unearthed by Hozier. Me when I'm in a yearning competition and my opponent is Hozier.
That's not funny!
This album is beautifully sad as hell. I don't know what's going on up in Ireland or wherever Hozier is from, but goddamn he made a sad album. Hozier delivers an amazing vocal performance on this album, accompanied with his very poetic lyrics. I feel like I need to rewind every song to fully appreciate them. The instrumentation is equally as melancholy, and if I weren't deliberately refusing to learn any music theory, I would probably be very impressed by it. I really liked the grand yet somber vibes of Son of Nyx. Low-key, it kinda sounds like Skyrim music, and the track Icarian has been stuck in my head for weeks now.
You! We're on a baby hunt, and don't think we don't know how to weed 'em out. DJ! Time for the test!
10,000 Gex by 100 Gex. After years of avoiding listening to 100 Gex like the plague, I finally caved in and listened to this album. I really enjoyed the opening track Dumbest Girl Alive with its club banger sound and depressingly funny lyrics. The track Billy Knows Jamie is a nu metal-esque track that, unlike most nu metal, actually sounds fucking awesome. I did appreciate how childish and unserious the track list was, but there were some cases where it just became annoying. Like the track $1 Million that sounds like a song off of the Saints Row 3 dubstep radio station straight out of 2011. The sheer obnoxious nature of this album would be intolerable if it wasn't so well produced, occasionally pretty funny, and great to listen to. I don't think I would ever let myself get caught dead listening to this album around other people, but I gotta recognize this is really stylized and artistic, catchy stuff. Life is But a Dream by Avenged Sevenfold.
I'm a liar, dawg.
This album is incredible. Avenged Sevenfold, after a very long hiatus since their last album, has dropped this fantastically heavy avant-garde metal record. As I'm making this video, I realized that I talked about this album before it even came out in my very first video back in April. God, that video is garbage. Speaking of God, that is the main subject of this album. Through the track list and M. Shadow's very poetic lyrical writing on this record tells a story of death and ascension into godhood, with the first song zooming through an ordinary human life, skipping through spark notes like the life flashing before the main character's eyes as he commits suicide. I think the line "as I swing from my family tree" might be one of my favorite lyrics of this album, and a very clever double entendre. From there, the second track, Mattel, characterizes a fake plastic reality that M. Shadows calls hell, leading into the third track, Nobody, which is probably my favorite song of the year, with this blaring guitar sound playing over and over, and M. Shadows singing about an ascension into godhood. The line "down below I leave a stranger laying lifeless" goes so incredibly hard, calling his own dead body a stranger. The instrumentation goes in so many different directions, from the screeching guitar solo that leads into these Daft Punky sounds and cosmic. G has this jarring funk aesthetic that sounds like so many things, but absolutely does not sound like an Avenged Sevenfold track. The track Death has this pretty great melodic chord progression with this classical sound straight out of Diamond City Radio that progresses into deep, heavy, pounding guitars. The sheer variety of sounds in this album never waste a second. The same cannot be said about M. Shadow's vocals, though. Shadows has gone through this massive change in his vocal delivery. Now he has this very breathy, strained, moaning tone to his lyrics now. Moreover, Shadows does a really good job of establishing the core themes and messages of this album in the first 3 songs, and then just kind of keeps harping on the same ideas of death and ascension over and over again, never really going anywhere or furthering the ideas of the album. I think that at some point the tracks G, Ordinary, and Death were supposed to be some kind of trilogy that just never came to fruition, because these tracks have absolutely no cohesion or anything that ties them together. They didn't even bother to give G a name. Originally I was put off by Shadow's vocals, but I think I've actually come to appreciate it. At the very least, it helps make this album stand out more than it already did from the rest of their discography. Avenged is no stranger to stark changes in sound in between albums, and I think a lot of criticisms of this album are things many people also said when City of Evil released. I think this album will be very jarring to fans of Avenged, and even more jarring to non-fans, but I can't think of an album more deserving of number 1.
I forgot to record a fucking outro!
Hey, thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Since you're already here, might as well consider subscribing. I mostly cover music-related topics on this channel, occasionally gaming, occasionally some other stuff, you never know. Goltum, you still owe me $50, I'm waiting on that. Anyway, happy Christmas, goodbye everyone.